The strongest Godzilla, one of the most debated topics in the Godzilla fandom. From Godzilla Earth to Final Wars, each has been thought to be the best at one point in time. Today I'm going to rank each Godzilla from weakest to strongest. I will also not be using power scaling, only what is shown in the films. Starting off is Godzilla 1998, which is still the least durable, but most agile Godzilla in the franchise. And unlike every other Godzilla on this list, Godzilla 1998 has no real atomic breath. At 54 meters tall, his weaknesses were shown when he was knocked out by submarine missiles and eventually destroyed by jet missiles. Next is Godzilla -1, at 50 meters tall. While he may not be the least powerful, he is definitely the weakest physically. This is shown when his atomic breath erupts the city in a huge explosion, but in the process greatly damaging himself. And finally, his demise in the film was just from a plane exploding in his mouth. Now, from the 1954 film is Gojira, who's also 50 meters tall. He is nearly indestructible to the time period's weapons, showing no sign of damage from any attack. His atomic breath, while not being more powerful than a flamethrower, is able to cause small explosions and melt towers. His only weakness shown is the oxygen destroyer, which completely disintegrated his skin and bones. Next is Showa Godzilla. He is 50 meters tall and shown to be incredibly strong and fast in the last few films. He has many abilities such as flight, a dropkick, magnetic powers, and energy absorption. However, the main downside is his atomic breath, which 80% of the time just annoys the monster it hits. His physical strength, on the other hand, is impressive, with him being able to throw around Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and many more. He is one of the most intelligent Godzillas and can use his abilities to his advantage. Godzilla 1999, from the film Godzilla 2000, stands at around 55 meters tall. He has no exceptional showing of strength, and his atomic breath takes multiple seconds to do damage. However, he wasn't shown to have any real weakness, and he has the ability to self-regenerate. From GMK is the 60 meter tall Godzilla. His physical strength is one of the least impressive on this list so far, with him barely being able to hold back the short Ghidorah. His atomic breath, on the other hand, was able to destroy every monster it hit. But in the end, he was completely destroyed once his body was cut open by a drill. Now, Godzilla from Kiryu Saga is 55 meters tall, and has one of the most powerful atomic breaths so far. When fighting Mechagodzilla and Mothra, his atomic breath was able to throw them around and knock them out. And unlike GMK Godzilla, this Godzilla was able to survive Mechagodzilla's drill, as well as the Absolute Zero cannon. But his main downside is a lack of intelligence in his combat. Next up is Shin Godzilla. His laser was shown to be incredibly powerful, with it being able to blow up an entire city in a single blast. In terms of his weaknesses though, he loses energy very quickly, and missiles as well as explosions were able to greatly harm him. The 55 meter tall Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Megaguirus is one of the most overlooked Godzillas. From what is shown in the film, he was able to match Megaguirus' speed with his physical attacks, and just one blast of his atomic breath was able to completely destroy the monster. But his main showing of power was when he held back a black hole for a few seconds with his atomic breath. And Godzilla Final Wars is next. He is very intelligent with most of his combat, with him being able to redirect an attack against the source. His atomic breath is the most powerful in the Millennium Era, with it being able to destroy Monster X's capsule and basically every other monster it hit. And although he is not as fast as Zilla, he makes up for that with reaction time and battle intelligence. And the most impressive showing of strength so far was Godzilla Final Wars being able to throw around Kaiser Ghidorah after having a huge power-up. Next is many people's favorite, with Legendary Godzilla. Despite being slower than Final Wars Godzilla, his physical strength is much greater. He was able to push around Ghidorah and rival Shimo's strength. His atomic breath is also very powerful, with it being able to dig halfway through the earth. But Monster vs. Godzilla's main advantage is his height and weight, with him being 119 meters tall and weighing 100,000 tons. His other abilities include energy absorption from monsters or weapons, which then can be used to make himself more powerful. This was shown in his thermonuclear form, or more recently with his pink form. But in terms of intelligence, he isn't the smartest of the Godzillas, with him falling for the same attacks throughout the series and not using his advantages in battle. Godzilla Earth, from the anime films, is widely thought of as one of the most powerful Godzillas. and from the widespread destruction from his atomic breath, it's very easy to see why people think that. Godzilla Earth is equipped with a shield, protecting him from most attacks, and he could slowly morph heat into a power source. But the main downsides are his incredibly slow speed, at about 25 miles per hour, and his weight being around the same as legendary Godzilla, despite being 300 meters tall. But from what we see in the films, he's able to destroy a robot city and collapse a weakened black hole. Now, finally, is Heisei Godzilla. Heisei Godzilla's physical strength is the greatest in the franchise by far, with him being able to throw around the 150,000 metric ton Mechagodzilla just by his head. His physical strength was able to rival Space Godzilla's, which for context, Space Godzilla after being fatally injured was able to lift the 160,000 ton Mogira just using his tail. And the most impressive feat is Heisei Godzilla being able to crack the Earth open by slamming Batra on the bottom of the ocean, causing both of them to fall into an underground volcano. In terms of durability, Heisei Godzilla has shown multiple times throughout the series to handle lasers multiple times stronger than his own atomic breath, as shown with the Super X2 or Mechagodzilla 2. In terms of solid feats, Heisei Godzilla's main showing of power was against Space Godzilla, a monster who was formed in a black hole and then exposed to the energy from multiple supernovas. Despite Space Godzilla having an excess amount of power and durability from his Crystal City, Heisei Godzilla's normal atomic breath was enough to cause him pain and flee on 2 different occasions. Heisei Godzilla is also incredibly intelligent, with him being able to figure out the weaknesses of every monster he fought, and use it against them in battle. And as for the burning form of Heisei Godzilla, it is easily the most powerful version of Godzilla by far. A single blast of his atomic breath was enough to destroy a whole city. He has much faster regeneration, and if he were to explode, his internal energy would have melted the Earth down to its core. But above everything else, Heisei Godzilla's main advantage is having the most plot armor of really any Godzilla, with him literally surviving being erased from time, or his brain being exploded. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.